It's Brad Talks, and I am here with Jeremiah Essmeyr. And spell that last name, Jeremiah.
You're funny. Essmyer.
And I keep putting an E in there, and you said that's a very common situation.
Yeah, you and everyone else. It's all right.
You and everyone else. If people are wondering what that noise in the background, we're recording this in the, what is that? I guess the atrium, you call this? Is this the atrium of the Embassy Suites Hotel? Mm-hmm. You just came from a St. Charles Regional Chamber meeting.
That's right.
You jumped from the fire into the frying pan.
all day. I've been networking this morning in Chesterfield. Now we're out here at the Embassy, and I'm privileged to meet with you. This is great.
And what we're doing here is we're doing a thing called Brad Talks, where what we're doing, essentially, one-to-ones are great, but the problem is they are one-to-one. Why can't we make it one-to-many? And that's the concept behind this whole thing, where I bring in people like yourself, and we talk about what you're doing, and more importantly, I want to find out about your personal life. Now, first off, let's hit the highlights. Professionally, you are a farmer's insurance guy.
That's right. This is my 5th year running a farmer's insurance agency. It's been great. This is my 2nd career. I used to run hotels just like this Embassy. Yep. I did 22 years in the hospitality industry. Many with Starwood, Kansas City, St. Louis. Been with Hilton for 10 or 11 years after that. Yep. And so I'm blessed. I wasn't sure if insurance was going to be right for me, and it's been wonderful.
Now, you were a hotel manager there?
Yes, sir. I would renovate hotels. We would take them over. I was a general manager for several years. That was my passion. I had a degree in it as well.
Wow. In hospitality? Was that what the degree was in?
Yeah. I switched schools and started down that path because I love to cook. I was getting a heavy food and beverage culinary degree and then realized, you know what? I'm going to hate this if I have to do it every day of my life. And so I said, tell me about the lodging side. Let's look at the hotel stuff. And so I went the hotel route, and I saved my passion for cooking for myself and my family. So I'm a short order cook every morning for breakfast. It's like Waffle House at my place. And I've got picky kids. Let's see, they're 4, 6, and 9. So there's usually 3 dinner options at night. And I don't mind that. I enjoy it.
Are you a married guy?
Oh, yeah. 21 years married. Unfortunately, I found the love of my life early. I didn't get to enjoy my 20s, as some would say, but it's been great. She's amazing. I call her a superhero. I could talk to you about her the whole day. She's an ICU nurse, a NICU nurse, a lactation consultant.
No kidding.
Yeah, she's a super lady.
Interesting. Now, the interesting part of that is you talked about you cooking, so she doesn't cook at all?
Oh, she hates it.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Now, she can bake. I almost prefer she doesn't, because that woman can destroy a kitchen. I mean, you learn early on, clean as you go in the food and beverage industry, and she just wrecks the place.
Now, you do realize this is going to play in the radio.
I know.
So she may be listening and go like, I don't know if I like what he said, right?
She knows it's true.
Okay, cool. So what made you switch from the hospitality industry to the insurance industry?
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm just Irish enough. I would stay in a bad marriage forever. And so I would have kept going if not for COVID. COVID really wrecked that industry.
No kidding.
It did. It was time. I'll tell you, it's been a blessing making the transition. I haven't worked a weekend in 5 years. How about that?
Let me think about that for a minute, being in the radio business.
Yeah, right. No, it's I would have kept doing it. Working 60 hours a week, 6-7 days a week. I would have. I loved it. I loved working with people.
Now, not to be nosy, was this a forced transition, or to the point where you sort of thought, okay?
Nope, it sure was. I got my walking papers.
No kidding.
Yeah, and I was bitter for a while. But I've come to realize it was a blessing. And I think that's a message for most people, is just because a door shuts doesn't mean that's the end. It's probably time to do something more with your life. So it's been a blessing.
I've been in business a long time, and there's 3 benchmarks. I don't know if I want to call them benchmarks, but first off was 9/11, where everything changed, and after 9/11. Then there was the economy melting down from 2008, 2009, 2010, and then the COVID thing. Mm-hmm. And each time, everything changed.
Yeah.
And the thing for you was, I would imagine, the hospitality industry, nobody was traveling or anything like that?
Oh my goodness. I was actually at an Embassy Suites March of 2020, and we had to let go 40 employees that week.
Wow.
We went from sold out to 6%. We only hosted essential travelers for a year.
You went from sold out to 6% occupancy?
And that was only just because we were an airport property. And so we were taking the essential workers, traveling nurses, authority figures, that type of thing. And for 12, 13 months, we ran that, me and 12 employees.
And essentially, it never really, I mean, what's the highest it got? Did it got to get to like maybe 10, 15% occupancy?
It did. And then about the time it was ready, and I say it was ready, the industry was ready to come back, the workers weren't. And so I remember in early 2021, I set 90 interviews for new employees, and I had 90 no-shows. And that, to me, was also the writing on the wall that this industry is not ready to come back.
Can I tell you the story behind that? Because that's happened to me owning businesses. Do you know what they were up to?
Well, I do. I don't want to share it, but I do. I get it.
You know what they were doing.
But you can look at it another way. People were wising up that, I want my life back.
But see,
how do I not work and still live a happy life? And I don't fault people for that.
See, I'm the kind of guy that I'm not happy unless I'm busy doing things. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I used to teach service culture and social style training. And you and I are probably similar. We're expressives. We enjoy community. We enjoy being active. We enjoy staying busy. But that's not everybody.
Interesting. Okay, so let's go back a minute.
Okay. Yeah.
Originally born and raised where?
Here in Missouri. I was born in the old city hospital before it was shut down.
No kidding.
Probably a year or two.
So, that begs the question. You know what the question is?
Well, before you get ahead of that, before I started school, my family, we moved way out to Jefferson County. Where?
Jefferson County?
Yeah, Jefferson County. I'm from Ware.
Oh, is there a place called Ware?
Yeah, I can do the Who's On First all day.
W-H-E-R-E?
No, W-A-R-E.
Where is Ware, Missouri? I've never heard of Ware, Missouri before.
You take Highway Y to get there, to be frank. No.
Where Y? Is there a how down there or something like that?
B to C to Where to Y. So I went high school all through the Grandview, R2 was the school out there. And then after that, Truman State. Where I discovered my passion and went to Missouri State and got my degree. Head Kansas City to start my career, and then got married while we were there in 2005, and then came home to St. Louis in 2007. Been home ever since.
Well, the question I ask about the high school thing is I think a lot of people look at that as like a socioeconomic kind of thing. Me being a North County guy, I went to Hazelwood High School, and people always say, which one? I'm old enough where there was only one. Sort of like out here in St. Charles County, once upon a time there was only one Fort Zumwalt. There was only one Wentzville High School. Now there's, I think, three. There's four Fort Zumwalts. And there was, are there two St. Charles City High Schools? I don't know, maybe there's only one.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Francis Howell, once upon a time, had one. Now there's three, that kind of a thing. Yep. You graduated and you went right into hospitality?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I got my first management role at the Sheridan Overland Park, Kansas Convention Center.
I know exactly where that's at.
It's a great place. And I got to be there many years, earned my first stripes, and then it was time to come home. We had an opportunity to come home in 2007, and I guess it was the Sheridan City Center at the time on 14th Street I transferred to, and that was my homecoming.
My two younger sons used to live in Lenexa, and that Johnson County, it's a really nice place.
It really is. I lived there for about 3 years, I'd say, 145th and whoa, see, it's been so long I can't even remember what that was. But yeah. No, we enjoyed living out there.
And the interesting thing about it is that, and tell me if I'm wrong, you lived there for a while. Johnson County is sort of similar to West St. Louis County. You've got Leawood, which is like sort of the Ladue, and you've got the Chesterfield kind of communities and things like that. Wouldn't you sort of look at it that way?
I would. The biggest takeaway for me was the city planning, whereas the street system here in St. Louis, it mirrors the rivers.
Right.
There, it's a perfect grid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it just felt a lot newer being there.
Well, see, it's interesting you mention that because of the fact that I did for a while. I ran some companies in Des Moines. Des Moines was like that as well too, and a grid system to the point where you knew pretty much when somebody gave you a address, you knew what part of town that was in.
100%.
Right. It was interesting. It's not like here where you go like, okay, where's this at?
You either know or you don't.
Right. Thank God for GPS. Okay. So how did you end up back here in St. Louis?
Honestly, I'm going to credit my wife on that one again. She didn't like being away from family. She comes from a close-knit, large family, and we were on an island. 4 hours sometimes is a vast ocean when you have a busy life. And so
I've made that trip many times going to see my son.
So really, it was about happiness and being back with family that pulled us back. So we looked for an opportunity and we came.
Okay, I've got to be nosy. What high school did your wife go to?
Same as you, Hazelwood Central.
Oh, what? Yeah. No, I was at Hazelwood.
I know.
She went to Hazelwood Central. She was a North County girl?
Yes, they're the best. They are the best.
Listen to you talk like that. she wanted to get back to the area. Now where do you live at now?
Well, we did 13 years in Florissant, which was great. And then just 4 years ago, we moved to St. Charles County, and I'm near Weldon Spring, Cottleville area. And so that's really what prompted me to plug into the county and learn St. Charles County and join the chamber. And I'm on the board of directors here, the Regional St. Charles Chamber.
I get thrown out of the chamber, so you're on the board. I get thrown out, right?
Yeah, don't worry. I know people if you want back in.
Okay. Insurance.
Yeah.
Now, you're a farmer's guy.
Yep.
Do people come up to you and go, dump, we are farmers?
You know, with a name like Jeremiah, people always got something to say. They sing Jeremiah was a bullfrog. we do the slogans. You know, I've seen a thing or two.
Do they ask you if your parents were very religious?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, and I connect with the weeping prophet sometimes, and I'm a bleeding heart. I'm a high empathy individual. I feel like, you know, helping people has always been my calling, and so it all aligns.
And some people look at insurance as like a necessary evil until you have to collect on it, right? Until your house blows. I mean, look at the situation that's happened just recently in the city of St. Louis. The sad part of it is most of those people didn't have insurance. Now they're essentially out of luck. We've had that come into the St. Charles County area, some nasty storms, not recently, but I guess it's been about 10 or 15 years ago, some nasty tornadoes came through. Matter of fact, one tornado came and actually damaged the family arena. I don't know if you know that, remember that or not.
I do remember that.
And to the point where, are you the guy when somebody's house burns down, are you there helping them?
I'm often the first call. I am. And so I keep a really large network of professionals. You know, we need restoration companies, we need roofers, we call hotels and get people relocated in that first few hours after a tragedy. Yeah, it's busy, and in that instance, it wouldn't matter if it was an evening or a weekend. We got to take care of people. So now, yeah, I'm often that first call.
I'm gonna give you a little bit of a sales pat on the back here because of the fact that by having somebody like you, as opposed to just going online and buying some online insurance, you're not an 800 number, you're a real person.
Yeah, I mean, in that luncheon I just came from, I was texting 4 different clients. You know, I am accessible, and I feel like that's missing from my industry, is being accessible, being responsive. And my hotel background means I'm wired that way. I'm going to reply. I'm going to be there for you. And
now, the insurance business has been hit by all sorts of natural disasters and things like that, which has caused the rates to go up. And a lot of people don't really understand, why are my insurance rates so high? Because the insurance companies are not for profits. They have to make money to stay in business, and that's why the rates keep going up.
Well, I think that's part of it. There's a lot of variables. You know, one thing that we forget is that new homes are being built every single day. And so if the storm was the exact same size, it's going to do more damage. It's going to damage more homes because per capita, there's more concentration in these areas. But setting that aside, if you've had any remodeling work done, if you've had any auto body work done, and you know the estimate costs between 2024, 25, 26, these recent costs to do repairs, they are astronomical. And so it's the cost of repairs that is really driving premiums up the most the last 3 or 4 years.
And part of that, I'm a car guy, part of that has to do with so much technology in the cars. Used to be able to, you bump into somebody's bumper, they put a new bumper on. Now they have to replace the sensors, they have to do all this, they have to do all that kind of stuff. If you run into somebody in a parking lot, that's probably a $2,000 damage right there.
100%. I have an example from January. The parts were $452, so that doesn't sound too bad. But the final claim from a parking lot bumper hit was $2,700.
Whoa.
And so when these small little incidents are racking up thousands of dollars in claim costs, well, that is going to lift premiums because there has to be enough money to cover the losses for everybody.
You know what? You're such an easy interview. Matter of fact, you should go in the radio business. You should be my co-host.
You know, my grandpa used to tell me I had a face for radio.
Oh, I do have a face for radio, trust me. Okay, contact information. People listening want to get a hold of you. And once again, give me your name and spell it, because that's important right now, because when people go on the internet, they type in things like that to bring up your Google search, stuff like that.
So Jeremiah Essmeyr, Jeremiah Essmeyr. You'll see I have an office located in Lake St. Louis. I have a satellite office in Chesterfield. I am easy to find. You can text me, honestly, directly, or give me a call, 636-926-3333. And that comes to me. I have an agency main number. I've got a great team. But let's say you just want to drop me a text and say, hey, I want a quote. You can just reach out.
I can vouch for that because I text you and you actually text me back from that number. So, Jeremiah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No, it's my pleasure.